Today is Monday, February 13th, 2012, and this is the start of an interview with Mr. Edward Peter Elen at the RSVP offices of Catholic Service of Macomb, located at 26238 Ryan Road, Warren, Michigan. Mr. Elen is 91 years old. He was born June the 12th, 1920. Mr. Elen resides at 21858 Pleasant, East Point, Michigan. My name is Dave Brousseau, and I will be the interviewer, and Gary Miglia will be the videographer. Mr. Elen, would you state for the record the branch of service that you served?
I served in the 503rd Engineers, the combat engineers, and we specialized in building bridges.
So that was the first question. What is an Army combat engineer?
So they used, like they moved us up one time to the Battle of the Bulge for reinforcements, you know, to need more men and everything. But see, with me, I was attached with the infantry a lot, you know, in case we needed bridges built or anything like that, you know. Yeah.
So later we're going to talk about your pleasant trip to Utah Beach. And from that point is where you began...
Omaha Beach.
Omaha. That's where you began building bridges for the march to Germany.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's go back a little bit. And you were born not here in Detroit.
No, New York State.
Okay.
Near Oswego, New York.
What happened to get you to Detroit? How did you get to Detroit?
We were going to Fort Thomas, Kentucky to pick up a guy that went AWOL. And coming back, the trains were loaded and stuff, and we got on there, and this one party poked me in the back. You can sit on the arm here, you know.
Uh-huh.
And that was my wife's girlfriend. And my wife at that time was engaged to a sailor. And anyway, after that, went overseas and wrote to her for 2.5 years and stuff, and when I come back...
So, you coming to Detroit happened quite a bit after you'd been in the service.
It was 1946 I came here.
Yeah. How big was your family then?
At home, there was four
Six.
boys and 2 girls, yeah.
4 boys and 2 girls.
Yeah.
Where were you in that group?
I was the 4th one. Yeah.
Now, I understand your brothers and sisters were also involved in the service.
I had one brother and one sister. Sister was in the WACs, and my brother, he was in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. And then when the war was going on, he volunteered for the infantry. Mm. Yeah, and that was... He said they couldn't dig holes there. He was on the Italian front, and he says what they did, they just put bodies in front of them, frozen bodies, and used that as protection. Yeah. But when we first, like I first went into France, Omaha Beach, we had to sleep 3 foot in the ground, 2 of us. We had 1 blanket apiece, and I think we did that for about a month. So, you know.
Were you drafted, or did you sign up?
No, I was drafted. Yeah, I was drafted. May 11th, 1943, 42.
Were you aware of what was going on in the world at the time?
Oh yeah. I was aware of all that, you know. You hear everything on the radio. Yeah.
it's hard to imagine back then we had the communication vehicles to tell us. Usually what we found out was 4 or 5 weeks old business.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think about that?
Well, I said, when my time comes, I go and that's it. You know? And we had big pay, $21 a month. And then they raised it to 55, and then they give you $10 more for combat pay.
Were you the first one to go in the service of your family?
Yeah, I think I went in before my brother did, yeah.
What'd your mom and dad think about that?
Well, at that time, they just probably didn't like it, but what could they do? You were forced to go, you know. I could have stayed home because we lived on a farm, and you need somebody to work on the farm, so my older brother stayed, and I went into service, yeah.
Where was your farm?
That was in Scriven, New York, outside of Oswego, about 3-4 miles out, and you could see Lake Ontario from
I'll be darned.
the hill, yeah, Lake Ontario there.
Where did you go to boot camp?
Well, when I was drafted, we went to Fort Niagara for a couple of days, then they give us aptitude tests and stuff, and we ended up in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. That's where we did all the boot camp. And they had us walking with wooden guns because they didn't have enough guns.
Yeah.
Wooden guns.
Yeah, I remember in boot camp they gave us Springfields. You remember those?
Oh, yeah,
I don't think any of them worked. You know, they were that old, but it was.
yeah. We carried 30 caliber carbines, they're shorter and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When you're doing your work and everything, they didn't interfere with you, you know.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to add something to the drilling that made it harder.
Yeah. But all through the war, we carried the guns all loaded.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't say to the enemy, say, hold it, I gotta load my gun.
Yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, that Springfield was a single shot.
Yeah.
So you shoot one and gotta load it again.
There for a while, I carried machine gun, Thompson.
Oh my goodness.
Man, that could spit out the lead. You couldn't shoot like this in a single
I know.
shot. If you automatically just
Thompson.
climb right over your head. So you
That
put
was Al Capone's favorite weapon.
So you put it against your hip
Yeah.
and held it down with your hand and, yeah.
I'm curious. It took them 1.5 years to draft you after high school. What took them so long?
They didn't need anybody right away.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
That comes up frequently as the needs assessment decides largely where you're going to go, but when you're going to get taken in. Some are taken in right out of high school. And
Oh, yeah.
typically, those farm boys are the ones they would take because they had machine operational
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, yeah.
And for building bridges, I suspect that would be.
Well, see, when we were in the States, we had these pontoon bridges, but when we got over there, we had the Bailey.
Yeah.
And they're all snapped together with steel, they interlock and everything.
Yeah. What made you decide to go in the Army?
Well, Uncle Sam decided for me. I didn't have no say-so.
Well, let me rephrase that question. If you had 1.5 years to decide, you could have gone anywhere you wanted.
Well, I did. Me and my buddy, we went to Syracuse, New York to join the Navy.
Okay, that's the question that I need to ask you, because I wanted you to tell me that.
But
What happened to that?
well, when I went there, they said, open up your mouth. They looked at your teeth and stuff, and then they said you got a possible hernia, and that's it. We can't take you. But when it comes to being drafted, they says, open your mouth and look at your mouth, and then they said, bend over and spread your cheeks, and they could see you could eat. You could. So they took you. They patted you, and that you.
Essentially, you were breathing.
But that is the truth. Yeah.
I can't believe it. You flunked out of the Navy. I can't believe it.
Well, probably I ended up in Pearl Harbor, the memorial.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, well, no, that was quite a bit after Pearl, but.
Yeah.
What do you think was in your background that made them attractive to you as a bridge builder? I mean, did you operate machinery, or
No, I didn't operate any machines or anything.
when you were on the farm?
Well, maybe tractor or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, it may have been going back to a need at that particular time, or you filled a gap or a hole somewhere that.
See, we didn't have nothing to say. They just give us tests and stuff and
Okay.
put us where they needed you, you know.
Yeah, at the time, those tests weren't very complicated, but they would at least identify people who had some skill level or understanding that would separate someone operating a typewriter versus.
See, when we built the pontoon bridge, you take the pontoon, there's two pontoons there, and it's a hinge span raft. See, it's a hinge span, and that it will take 10 tons. But if that hinge isn't put in the right spot, the whole bridge will sink. So they always put me on that detail and stuff. But then I'd eyeball it and everything. And we were down in Tennessee maneuvers, and they had like Army Day, and a general there was to inspect different things. And when he checked the pontoon bridge, he says, "You guys are going overseas." So I did the wrong thing.
After you got drafted, they sent you to boot camp somewhere.
Well, that was Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I went down there.
Fort Bragg?
Yeah. And we had a whole.
Was there something unique about Fort Bragg that would tell you where you would go later?
Not really. Not really.
In the Vietnam War, if you went to Fort Polk, you were going to Vietnam
Yeah.
right after,
Yeah.
because that was the training for jungle warfare.
Yeah. And see, they probably were at Fort Bragg, and they sent us to Europe, you know.
Okay, so I'm sure they had a purpose.
Yeah.
Do you remember much about boot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just getting up and drilling every day and
Go on 10-mile hikes,
Bivouac.
5-mile hikes. Yeah. Yeah.
10-mile hikes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We'd go out, I slept in the snow. Down in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in the pines. We went on, I don't know, building bridges or something. I had a picture of a photo. You take the canvas off of a 2.5-ton truck. And you take and put it on the edge of the water and run a Jeep up there and bring that canvas up around and stuff, and you can paddle it across the water and stuff. I had a picture like that, and I was in there paddling that Jeep. It was in that canvas, yeah. Good thing there's no holes in it. I had one experience, we're down Tennessee maneuvers, and we had this here one pontoon boat, yeah. And we used to put the cable on an angle, and the current from the river moving would push it back and forth across the stream. Well, here, when you had that raft, you had control, and we told this here guy with a Jeep, don't move yet. And I didn't anchor that one side. Well, one side was anchored. When that Jeep had to go up the bank like this here, well, that raft was separating. I thought that Jeep was going to go right in the river. But they had it four-wheel drive, they pulled out. Yeah. But they wouldn't listen to you. So.
If any of you folks have got questions or comments or suggestions, please don't hesitate to either ask them, or it's usual they know probably as much about this as anybody and can add to it. If you want to add to it, that's fine. Any other events that stay with you when your boot camp was going on?
Not really, just stayed in shape. And
did you ever get homesick?
not really, not really. I would go home.
Just a tough guy, huh?
Well, I was always caught up doing things I'm not supposed to do. Otherwise, you know, it's
Really?
dull, everybody's sitting there. You name it, and I've they used to retaliate on me too. Like we slept in bunks, you know, lower and upper, and I slept down alone. There was lots of time to take a balloon, fill it with water, or then you get in there, you break that, and water go all over, or else they put salt in between your sheets. And this one guy, he goes to town and drinks.
Shaving cream?
This one guy, this is the truth now. He went to town and had a lot of beer. And he went over McIntyre. He's a tall guy, and he's laying there hollering. He says, "Hey, his name Barry." He says, "Hey," he says, "You're this isn't the bathroom." He was urinating right on top of him. He just laid there. That's what happened when they get loaded and come back. The only time I got really sick was we were moved up the Battle of the Bulge, and I saved cognac from Belgium and everything, you know, and so we were celebrating that night and drinking little, man, I got so sick I didn't go to Christmas dinner and nothing, you know. So I was going to dump it out, and this one cook, he says, "Ed," he says, "what happened to you?" And I told him, I said, "I got this cognac, I'm going to dump it out." He says, "Save it for me." I said, "Don't make a pig of yourself." Well, he drank, he ended up in the hospital.
It's been pretty strong stuff.
Now, you leave boot camp. Where did they send you right out of boot?
Well, actually, we stayed right there. In
Oh, yeah?
Fort Bragg, yeah.
Did you go to some schools to
No,
learn how to do whatever you needed to do?
no. Because they're all simple. It was easy to figure out what you had to do.
And as I understand it, when you weren't building bridges, you were out doing what infantry people do, right?
Yeah, they had those reserves, yeah. But I told you, we slept in the first month we slept in the hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Mice would fall into your bed, but if it was a snake, I'd get out of it in a hurry. When we were down in Tennessee, they had chicken snakes that you would not believe. Their head was big, and they're about 4 or 5 foot long, and big, heavy things. And the guys would be on guard duty, and they'd wake up, there'd be a snake in the blanket with them.
Were they dangerous?
No, but I didn't like snakes. I know I was writing a letter back home, and I was in a sunny spot, and I heard this rustle, and a great big snake come right towards me. I went one way, and the snake went the other.
How long did you stay then at boot before they shipped you over?
Well, we went over there and, she was drafted in 42. And I was shipped out October 43 to England.
So you were actually here in the States for over a year and a half?
Yeah, a little over a year,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you got shipped to England, were you aware why you were going there?
Oh, yeah, yeah. When we left Boston Harbor, that ocean was, the moving, it was just as smooth as anything, but after we got out about 2 days or so, it got rough. And then this one night, the
Excuse me, this is on your way from,
United States to England.
okay,
And they were on the Mauritania, it was the second largest ship afloat. And there was 10,000 troops on that ship. And we either slept on tables or maybe we strung a hammock on the pipe. But after about the third day, they got rough. And then one night the engines were wide open and stuff. They spotted a German sub about 2 miles away. And I said to him, I said, "What, they can't do nothing." He says, "In smooth weather, they can sink the ship." Yeah. But the Mauritania could outrun a German sub at that time. Yeah.
so you're out there like a sitting duck.
Yeah, this is right.
How big a group of ships were with you?
We went alone,
You went alone,
unescorted, yeah.
unescorted,
Yeah, yeah,
10,000 men.
yeah. Unescorted.
In the ocean, it's full of Wolfpack submarines from the
Yeah.
enemy.
Yeah, yeah.
Did I just say everything that was right?
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Because when we left Boston Harbor, they had gates where the subs couldn't come in there, see? And they were around that area, so one of them didn't spot it. So, and some of the guys, they said, "We're not gonna go back to this, we're not gonna go back on the ship." I said, "Well, how are you gonna get back home? You have to go." They got sick and everything, you know? So,
That's amazing. I just find that hard to believe.
we were down D-deck, way down below water line, yeah. We passed up some.
Did they take a lot of evasive action whenever?
After they spotted that sub, they were zigzagging.
Okay.
This year, they were zigzagging.
Boy, yeah, that's better than sitting there with your finger in your ear, but boy, hardly.
Yeah.
And that didn't bother you either, you know, I had something I had to do, so I had to,
Well, what could you do? Jump overboard?
that might have been one of my options. How long did it take you to get to England?
I think it took 6-7 days, something like that.
Can't imagine on a ship like that, 6-7 days.
Then we went up the northern part of England, like, and the German planes were flying overhead, and yeah, it was.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And we unloaded way up there, and then we went all the way down to Land's End, way down, way down.
That's on the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, way down low. Yeah.
They were probably observation planes?
Yeah.
Yeah, wanted to find out what the heck you guys were doing.
Yeah.
At that time, did you know what your purpose was? Where you were going next?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, we didn't figure on going that fast, but they took us in a hurry. Yeah, we had to sit offshore because the beachhead wasn't big enough.
You must have been able to walk almost across the English Canal. There were so many boats, so many ships.
You better believe it, at night. See, we took off at night. That sky was just black with planes pulling gliders and stuff. And the gliders, they had infantry in them. They'd have a jeep with artillery piece and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. And it was,
That didn't bother you either, huh?
you just had to take what come along, that's all. Yeah,
How long did it take you to get there when you finally took off?
for the beachhead.
Yeah,
The beachhead was June 6th, and well, there was no room for us. We had to set out there for a day or two.
but it couldn't have taken you more than a day or so to get from England
Yeah,
to the beachhead,
Yeah.
does it?
yeah, that's right. See, the Germans were fortified. We went from Southampton, and the beach here across the channel, you know, it was fortified with Germans, but we went way down here and come in where they didn't expect us.
Yeah, there were several beachheads
You know, yeah.
that
Yeah,
they assumed you were going to
yeah.
hit.
There was English, and I forget, there's 3, 4 beachheads.
Utah, Omaha, what were the other ones?
Normandy? Was Normandy one of them?
Normandy, well, that was, yeah.
Yeah,
But there were a couple others I don't remember that were down the coast a bit. And they didn't have enough troops to guard them all, so they made a decision what they were gonna
yeah,
assume where the battle was gonna occur and
yeah. But talked about the planes in the sky, the channel was just black with ships. Oh yeah, you could walk from ship to ship. But when you went ashore, the Air Force, the bombers and everything, they just destroyed all the rails, everything, you know, and so they couldn't move supplies up or anything. And they had, at that time, they had horse-drawn artillery. And here that horse-drawn artillery weren't going on the main road because it got strafed. So here these fields along the road, one after the other, they're laying there dead because the American fighters, they strafed and killed everything. Yeah.
I imagine it was hard to separate who the enemy was and who the good guys were.
Yeah.
They brought those horses over on the ships?
Well, that was the Germans.
Oh,
The
okay,
Germans.
okay.
It wasn't American, it was German. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about Dragon Teeth.
Dragon teeth.
You don't remember that?
Oh, when they're going ashore?
Yeah,
Well, they had all that steel and everything, you know, the ship.
the big X's and
Yeah.
rails and sharp.
Yeah. They had that.
I've never
all-
heard that term before, Dragon Teeth.
Yeah. And they had it all landmine, everything, you know. And the tanks, when the tanks come in, they had big arms and they had drum up there with chains. And they'd take a path and they'd blow up all the bombs and everything. But when we come into Normandy, they got hedgerows that are maybe 8 foot wide and maybe 5, 6 foot high. Well, here the Germans had trenches in there and everything. Where you'd shoot and they had gun emplacements and all that stuff, you know, yeah.
Almost impossible to dig them out.
So we had some tanks that had bulldozer blades on them and they just took them,
Bulldoze them over.
yeah. I'd like to. But here, that one time we moved into this place and they had anti-personnel bombs, you know, and they had a big canister drop and the whole thing would explode and shrapnel will cover a whole area and there was cattle and German soldiers dead laying all over. I can still smell the rotting smell, you know. Oh yeah, yeah. Some people would be nightmare.
And even that,
When we're further into,
doesn't really bother you, just, it's another day at the office.
well, I'm not one of them laying there. But, no, me and my buddy, well, I had close calls. I think. I hit about 6 inches from my hip.
Oh my gosh, the bullet had apparently hit something hard and bent.
Brick wall right on my head.
Wowee, wowee, wowee.
Yeah.
Now, I would not like one of these coming at me. They even got the the borings on it for the spin going through the,
Just hold it up. Wow,
well,
it's good.
it's not gonna work, I guess.
That's right, we got it.
Yeah. That's amazing. That just missed you, eh? It had your name on it.
But they didn't spell it right, yeah.
That's like me and my buddy, you
And
know.
that didn't scare you and didn't bother you?
That was after he cleaned out his truck.
Frankly, I give you a lot of credit for not letting this stuff bother you and carrying this with you the rest of your life. There's not a lot of men out there that did.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I had me and my buddy, this German tank was still smoking. We headed to look at the tank, you know, German tank and everything. So here a guy cut across in front of us and he lost his legs. He stepped on a landmine, so we turned around and left.
all right, let me go back just a minute because I want to get a sense of where you fit into this landing. You weren't the first ones off the ship
No, no, no.
because your job was to build bridges and
Right.
that wasn't time to be building bridges. So
And then when they needed
you
me-
came in at the 6th or 7th wave. That could have been a day or so later, right?
Yeah, it was a day and a half later.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And at that point, my guess would be that a lot of the initial defense mechanisms had been removed so that you could get up and start looking for bridges to cross, I suppose, eh?
Well, we didn't look for them. I mean, we got calls when the infantry and stuff, you know.
And then when you weren't out building bridges, you were back in the infantry doing what those folks do.
Well, we're, you know, backups and stuff, and we, yeah.
I've seen pictures of several of those beachheads at the time that the landing occurred, and then several days later when they pretty much got themselves organized. I mean, it's just a huge number of machines
Yeah,
and tanks, ammunition tanks or gasoline tanks. I mean, it was just a huge base almost right there on the beach.
oh yeah, yeah. See, when the American tanks come in, and this one time, there was a country asphalt road, and see the treads are narrow on the tanks. And here, they dug in on the belly lane there, they can't move. In the German tanks, they had big wide tread like that. So what the Americans had to do, they put extension on all the treads. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine there was an awful lot of adaptations they had to make and adjustments,
Yeah.
even though they knew where they were going.
You were saying that the beachhead was cleared. Well, me and my buddy, we're always looking for souvenirs, you know. So anyway, we see this here French farmhouse, and we started heading for it.
Oh yeah,
We come back crawling through the grass. I don't know where the Germans were, but them bullets flying over your head. And good thing that
somebody in
grass
that
was-
farmhouse, eh?
they were in there. But
How long were you on the beach head before they began to move?
well, I don't know, we stayed near the beach maybe a day or so, but then we moved.
That
on
was
up.
about it, eh?
Yeah. See, they broke through and, yeah.
And then all the reinforcements
Yeah.
would come so they could,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
It's like I told you, we're down in St. Lowell, and that was the gateway to the plains, you know. And the Germans were dug in there and everything, and it was at night. And here we were outside of St. Lowell and stuff, and here the American bombers come over and bomb at night. And the ground is shaking like an earthquake, you know, from the bombs and everything. And
Before your troops landed, there must have been a horrendous bombardment of all the big ships, the battleships that were bombarding the land, or the beaches.
Yeah, I'm sure they did, yeah.
I mean, I read some counts of the tons of shells they must have expended.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that island must have been shaking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And even then, several of the beaches were pretty well fortified
Oh, yeah.
when
yeah.
they came in.
Yeah, yeah. Now, when they're bombing St. Lowell, the concussion, the ground shaking and everything, and then the thing, direct hit, it just blew up in the sky, and then one come down and crashed. It was maybe from here to Ryan or something like that, when the concussion just blew you sideways.
Wow.
The next morning we looked at this big hole there with 4 engines, and that's it. Everything just blew up. Could have dropped on top of you.
Yeah.
So. But them were the good days.
I don't remember, and I'm not sure you would, but from the time that you landed until the time you arrived in Germany, was that a year and a half, if I remember right?
Well, the invasion was
June 6,
44.
44. Yeah, it'd have been a year. Germany surrendered in 1945, May.
Yeah, they started.
So maybe a year, maybe, yeah, about a year.
See,
Well, that's an awful lot of fighting.
yeah, well, I spent actually 2.5 years overseas. Yeah. Because after,
Can you think of some events that happened to you on the way? I know there were several different paths that were chosen to go inland toward Germany.
there's only one time we're in France, and we had orders to retreat because
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. That was interesting. Go ahead.
they told us we have to retreat because you could hear the German tanks and the American tanks fighting, you know, close by. And it was cloudy where the fighters couldn't fly or anything, you know, so the next morning, instead of retreating, here the sun come out, and here comes the fighters, boom, boom, and knocking all the German tanks out and everything, yeah. Yeah.
It probably was lucky that it was sunny, and as opposed to being overcast, planes probably couldn't have gotten up in the air.
That's right. And at that time, we had a pup tent, we had a foxhole next to us. Yeah.
Oh, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
A pup tent.
You carried a half and your buddy carried the
Yeah, I
other
guess,
half.
you know, you learn how to get along with what you got and
Yeah.
make adjustments. Did you ever come into contact with General Patton?
No, but he was close by. I think we operated under his command one
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Your blood and his guts. Blood and guts, they call it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I guess. He was quite a character.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he got killed over there, you know.
Yeah, but that was after the war was over and it was some damn car accident. I mean, it was something silly.
Well, you know what really happened when you move up at night, if they get between two cars, the guy in back forgets to use his brakes. And that's happened.
Yeah, yeah,
I shouldn't say it, but me and another guy were looking for a fellow like that.
yeah. Patton was born to fight, and he really wasn't worth a whole lot otherwise.
Yeah, that's right. But he was in the hospital. This one kid was battle fatigue in the hospital, and Patton was slapping him around because, you know.
Called him a coward.
Yeah, yeah.
Then he had to apologize.
He carried his two guns.
Yeah,
Well, I had two of them.
did you? How did you get those?
Well, as the front move, you know, the homes are all empty, and we stay in the house, and I open up the dresser drawer, and here's this 44 something, you know, with a holster and everything. Next time,
You stole a gun?
well, you help yourself, they left them there, you know. So you're wearing that, and then we went to the next town, and I found an identical gun with a holster and everything.
Even had ammunition?
No ammunition.
No.
So I had them and this here fellow, he was from Nevada.
Uh-huh.
And he says, Ed, what are you gonna do with them guns? I says, well, I don't know. Why? He says, if I had them, I'd put them on my bar back home. So I says, here's guns for you. Well, we used to pick up a lot of guns.
Yeah, I suspect that would be very tempting to
Yeah,
pick up that kind of stuff just because you never saw it before, and
yeah.
be nice souvenirs. I suppose under the wrong conditions, though, they could be rather heavy and
Yeah.
restricting.
Well, I carried the empty ones on each side. Didn't have no ammunition, but you could use it as a club.
What about Eisenhower? Have you ever had a chance to meet him?
Not really. Not really. He gives us out cards, and I give it to a guy in New York. He collects things like that. But for the invasion, you know, when you read that, you felt 10 foot tall.
What was the card?
About the invasion and everything. You know, I forget what it was, but when you read it, it made you.
Yeah, he has come across as being quite the motivator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sometime between the time of the landing and arriving in Germany, you also managed to get yourself involved in the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah, they moved us up there as reinforcements. You know,
So now you're Mr. Infantry rather than Mr. Bridge Builder, eh?
Well, we slept in a schoolhouse, so, yeah. They moved us up there.
Do you remember climbing up that hill and falling down and climbing up and falling down?
No, we didn't. We were in a little town, and I think we slept in a schoolhouse with some bunks and stuff. And we actually didn't go at the front, but in case they needed us, we were in the area. Yeah.
Awful lot of men died on that silly hill.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a friend from New York there. He was a staff sergeant, and he was in there, you know, when his commanding officer told the Germans nuts, you know. Yeah.
That's when they were asked to surrender.
Yeah. they would have surrendered, but he was in there. He passed away lately. But yeah, I remember that.
When you were on the beach, you told me well, we were talking about that earlier, but just the magnitude of this landing, and there were 4 or 5 different beaches that were landed on. it's just difficult to imagine how many ships, as far as you could see,
Yeah,
that were there. Each had their own
yeah,
role they were playing, but when they came in to do the bombarding, sometimes the beach landings got a little too far
yeah,
when they were bombarding, and
yeah. But see, they had battleships offshore that was shelling everything,
Right.
you know.
right.
Yeah,
And then in between all of that, you got these aircraft doing the strafing along the beach.
well, actually, we didn't, because everything was destroyed, there was nothing to, the American planes to strafe, you know, they had control of the air. But you
Yeah.
see, the only time I see German fighter planes is at night.
Yeah,
At one time, we were moving up, and
uh-huh.
I can still see the fighter plane.
Well, the strafing wasn't gonna do much to the pillboxes that were implanted there.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
probably it'd have to be a lucky hit on the shell
Yeah.
bombardments, and I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
what,
Well, they had
some
here-
beaches had it easier than the others.
Oh, yeah. Well, Omaha Beach was the worst one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
what were some of the um, areas that you went through that we'd recognize? You said St. Lowell. When you went through some of this, is that what your maps will show us?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Which one would I attack first?
Let's see. Which one is this here? This is. Take that one there. That's the.
This one?
Yeah, that's the 1104 combat.
No.
See, this is 1104 combat group, and we were part of it. But they had infantry in there and engineers and everything.
What's the blue line?
I think that's the shoreline.
Oh, this is England.
Yeah, that's England.
This is England, so this must be the channel,
Yeah, that's the channel there.
because this is Southampton,
Yeah, yeah.
and,
See, this is a short.
okay,
See, that's a short version of it.
right. And the crossing happened here, and then over here was part of Germany, and,
See, we were there where the red line is.
Right.
That's where we crossed. Yeah,
right.
that was Omaha.
Is that
Beach.
coming across okay? Oh, good. Oh, interesting. Okay,
Let's see. I think this is the first one right here.
yeah, this one is a little easier to tell. There's the English Channel.
See, we went way down around it.
Yeah, Normandy. And then, of course, France, Belgium, Holland.
See St. Lowell here any place?
Well,
I can't see it at an angle here.
it wouldn't be very big, so. No, I don't. It would have been up in here somewhere, I think.
No, we went through it. It's,
You see it?
It's saying hello. Go down. Down. Right there.
Oh,
right there, yeah.
yeah, okay, so it's over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Tilt it this way a little bit. Yep, a little bit more.
Point again?
But,
Point.
Point.
oh, down here, St. Lo.
St. Lo.
And this must have been the path you took.
Yeah, yeah. We basically followed that.
They got
19th Corps. We were all
Cognac
through the war.
factor.
Okay?
Mhm.
Oh, that's kind of neat. We should have,
Then they got all the history written in back on it.
oh, yeah, oh, wow. I'll show you one of these. Kind of a lot of detail of,
Tip it
Down,
down, tip it,
top down, yep, keep going, top down.
tip it forward a little bit more. Yeah, that's good.
oh, that's kind of neat.
They gave that to we had a topographical outfit with us, and they made all these maps and everything, and they give every soldier them maps. But imagine a lot of them never kept them. Well, I
Yours are the
didn't look
first
at
ones
them.
yours are the first ones we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Yeah.
these.
Well, we had some maps that were wrapped up, but
Not like this.
Not
no,
like this.
not like this.
No.
I had them put in a special frame.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
but-
gosh, that would have been nice right up on,
Yeah.
We're trying to decorate.
But we had a topographical outfit that made the maps for everybody.
and here is Holland and Germany.
Yeah. We ended up at Wiesbaden.
Okay, where's Wiesbaden?
The end of the line there. Up here. Right at the end of
The very
the
end.
line
Over here?
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
please find it. Huh?
Right there.
Yeah, right there.
Wherever you're pointing, Grandpa.
We're in that area.
It's WANZLEB.
Up by Berlin? Oh,
Oh, yeah, right there.
oh, yeah, there it is,
It's like a lens crafters
right
commercial.
here.
You guys are good.
And then the Germans told us to fight the Russians, because the Russians were just the other side of the river here, or what? I don't see the river. It's ever. We never went through.
Why would you be fighting one of your allies? You know, at the time, that's what they were.
Yeah, well, we supplied them all the weapons and guns and everything.
Oh, man, that's neat.
And the back rating on that too. Yeah, we covered 800 miles.
I think there's some blood down there.
You bring it forward, Dave, from the top. That's good.
From the Ruhr to the Rhine, from the Rhine to victory. That's neat stuff.
So now, it says the Tomahawk strikes. Was that, did they refer to your group as the Tomahawk or the operation as the Tomahawk?
No, it was a group, 19th Corps had a Tomahawk. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that'd be interesting.
Very.
And then this was the,
Our company.
here, you wanna grab the other end of it? We'll see if we can pick that up. And you said this was taken where?
This was taken in Fort Bragg
Oh.
before we went overseas.
Before all these guys got blessed with the,
Can you point yourself out?
you need to take the top Ed and bend it in so
Do you know,
that
No.
it's
you know about
Which
where
way
he
is
is?
him?
He's over by me.
over here at the top.
holding the flag.
Holding the flag.
Can you see that?
There was no flag in that picture, Dave.
I'm zoomed in as much as I can, but I got the top row.
Top row, third.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
Going through that, you got top pay.
well, at the time, that was not bad, considering you got everything else free,
Yeah.
and you didn't have any place to spend it anyhow, so,
That's right. I was sending half of my check to my dad
yeah,
back home, and when I got back, I had $500 some. That was a lot of money then.
yeah, sure it was.
But then the first one in was $21 a month, then they raised to $55. Then they gave you $10 more for combat pay, so you didn't think much of your life.
Let's get to the interesting part.
What's that?
When you met this woman,
Yeah.
how did that happen now?
Well, we're taking this guy back down to Tennessee.
When was this? Before you went over or
Yeah,
after you got
before.
back? Okay, before.
Before we went over. Well, we're getting on this train to go back down to Tennessee, and there was no seats or anything. So this one girl punched me in the back. You can sit on the arm, you know, and talking to her. And that time, my wife, she was asleep because she was going down. She was engaged to a sailor. And anyway,
Well,
I got
you're speaking about this woman
yeah,
who was gonna be your wife.
yeah.
Okay,
I didn't know at that time, though.
no,
But anyway, I got her address and I wrote to her for 2.5 years and everything, you know.
wow,
Then when I come back, she called, well, when you coming to Michigan, you know, so I did. But then when we went to visit my brother, she says, your brother's letters are all blacked out and everything, crossed out and everything. Mine weren't like that. I says, I just send you love letters. Yeah.
what kind of love letters were they?
Well, I wasn't saying anything bad. I was just being nice and writing, love you and this and that.
Whoa! That's great.
And then
That's
she was
great.
sending me all kind of packages and
Oh,
all that
neat.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this, while you were over in Europe,
Yeah.
she would send you these packages.
Yeah.
And amazingly, they all came intact, right?
Yeah. But you opened it, man, you had to eat fast because everybody would be grabbing them.
Yeah, I've been through that story, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
There's nothing private, you know. So when you got back, was she still engaged to that guy in the Navy?
No.
She got rid of him.
Yeah. You said he was a wimp.
Oh boy, it's a good thing we didn't have the other guy here.
Well,
The Navy
Yeah.
guy.
that certainly speaks to you too, as being something much better than a wimp, right?
But I'll tell you, you know, the end of the war, you'd be surprised how many Germans try to get a hold of you and come back to this country and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah.
How would they do that?
By getting married and stuff.
Oh, I see,
So
yeah,
some of the-
okay,
some of the GIs stayed over there. They did marry him and stuff. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in any of those countries, it's almost like the South moving to Detroit for the auto industry. There's nothing for them there to,
Yeah. Well, you take during the war that these girls, you know, like down in Carolina and stuff, Fort Bragg, and they'd maybe marry 3-4 guys. Yeah. And then if they got killed or anything, they'd get that $5,000. Yeah, a lot of them were doing
What was the name of that program, 5220 or 2052?
I think it was 2052.
2052? He didn't remember that.
Then maybe Uncle Sam owes him some money.
Well, this was when you got back and you disembarked from the service. Did you receive any money from the government?
See, I was living in Michigan then, and I didn't qualify here, and I didn't qualify in New York. So,
Really?
yeah, I didn't get anything.
Well, I'd never heard of this
Yeah,
this routine before this guy came in and told us
yeah,
a while back, and I've not heard about it. Well, maybe we have.
Yeah, one or two
Yeah.
stories.
yeah.
So this is an example of where anyhow, they called it 2052, and you got
$20.
20 bucks a week.
Yeah, for 52 weeks.
Wow, I mean, that's pretty big money, 20 bucks a week?
Well, wait, I did start that. I did start some of that when I was here in Michigan. I did get some.
Okay,
But then I started working, so
oh,
I didn't get any.
so if you were working, you didn't get it, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
But I understand they got this for 52 weeks. You know, that's pretty nice to have something coming in
Yeah.
till you get yourself,
That was better than $21 a month.
yeah, defracked.
Getting shot at.
And being shot at, yeah.
I always say it's
So-
a sharp stick in the eye.
Yeah.
She invited you to Michigan, and you came.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Well, I
We
got
didn't get to
weak.
the good stuff yet.
I got weak, and I says, yeah.
Okay, well, that's neat. And then,
She was a good cook too.
oh boy,
Yeah.
that's a bonus.
Yeah. But I cooked in the Army for a while.
Yeah,
We were down, after the war ended, we were down on the Rhine River to maintain a bridge. And they had this third cook or something, and everybody says, Ed, he says, why don't you go work in the kitchen, cook? And I think there was 30 people there. So I went in the kitchen and cooked and everything, and I cooked better than the regular cook. They were happy. Well, when we're going through Germany, you know, this one time where, see, there's no civilians there. In the infantry, over there, they had some chickens, see? So like me, you know, I sneaked over there and got a couple of them chickens. And I cooked them up. They used all the German, you know, plates and everything like that. And this here first sergeant, he come by and he said, man, oh man, you got this here meal here? It's better than in the kitchen. Oh yeah, I was cooking chicken and everything.
now, you get to Germany. What was it like when you heard the war was or Germany surrendered? Do you remember that?
Yeah, where that was, I was over.
Because you apparently were there for quite a while after
Oh yeah.
the war was, or Germany surrendered.
Yeah. I used to, they took me out of the engineers, 503rd, and they put me in the 21st. It was, they had to carry supplies and everything.
Transport.
I forget what they called them, but anyway, I was.
Transport? Probably.
Something like that, yeah.
Supply. Yeah.
Transportation. And I was driving guys to Frankfurt, Germany on the Autobahn. They were going back to the States. I think they were flying back, but we went back. I went back to the States on the Santa Paula. So the American cruise line ship, and man, we got out in the ocean and did I get sick and everything.
You told me you weren't seasick when you were out there.
Not on the Mauritania, that thing was so huge, you know. But on that little thing, man, I got sick, and they're calling me for work in the kitchen, you know,
Oh, gee,
dishing out the food.
the
I
kitchen,
went there and I told
it's
them,
the worst place to go when you're
I
seasick.
said, what do you want me to do, throw up in somebody's plate? And they kept calling me, and I said, after what I went through, what are they gonna do to me, throw me overboard or something?
Well, I got sick every time I went to sea for the first day,
Yeah,
and I'm not sure jumping overboard was not a good viable option.
yeah.
I don't know that there's ever been a feeling I have ever experienced as bad as that. I mean, you just lose all control
Yeah. No,
of your ability to navigate it all and think. Yeah, it's a terrible feeling.
yeah, when we're on the Mauritania going over there, the food was, well, they had like a gallon bucket and they put food in there for 10 people, you know what it was? And then after supper, they come around selling sandwiches and beer. Yeah,
So how long did you actually stay in Germany after the surrender? Do you remember?
probably 6 months or so.
There was a movement, I guess you might want to call it, to ship some of you folks over to the Pacific Theater.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're aware of that, eh?
They told us to get ready
Oh my
to get
goodness.
shipped, but then they dropped the bomb, you know.
Okay, because there was really what, June, July, August? It's only about 3 months, I think,
Yeah,
between Germany giving up and,
yeah. They told us we might have to get ready to go to Pacific. I said, oh no.
I would not like to hear that, no way.
Yeah,
Not to speak of the long trip, but, wow, that's,
yeah.
and I don't know how close we were at that point of decision-making as to whether they were gonna drop the bomb or invade, and
Yeah.
after coming back from the beach landings, I'm not really sure you're too tickled about doing it again.
Yeah. I told you about we were outside of Paris, but we didn't go into Paris in the city. We're waiting for de Gaulle to come in. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where was he?
I don't know, he was someplace in France or England. He could have been in England and then he come over. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I see the Eiffel Tower, but we never went in. We're outside.
what was it like to be in these cities after the surrender? Were the people hostile, or were they nice, or?
No, the people were good. People were good.
I mean, it wasn't the people you were fighting, really, it
Those
was,
Nazis.
right,
The Nazis, yeah.
right. I've had the same kind of reaction to those men like yourself who were in the Pacific in Japan.
Yeah. They were trying to grab people and come back to the
Yeah,
States with them.
yeah. Yeah, I imagine that was, well, you had to go through some kind of, I think the armed forces were trying to discourage that
Yeah.
and finding ways to make it tough.
Yeah. I wasn't interested.
Well, I guess not, you got this waiting for you at home. She looked like she wouldn't have anything to do with that. See, now you're a daughter. So you're quite a distance from this. Did you know her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
My grandmother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know you said she died, but I don't remember how long ago was that.
It's probably 11 years now.
Oh, 11, okay.
Yeah.
So where did you set up homekeeping when you finally relented and married her?
Well, when I was writing to her, she says, she's looking for a place for her dad to live with her, see?
Oh, I see.
And she works for Briggs Manufacturing.
Oh, yeah.
So I got her to rent that unit, you know. For me to move in.
Oh, good.
But it was in Hamtramck,
Yeah.
Belmont and Brownback.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So now what did you do for a job?
Well, I went to work at Dodge, Maine there, and you were lucky if you made $100 a week then, you know.
Stuff had really slowed down after the war. They didn't need all of that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I'm sure jobs were not plentiful in that regard.
Well, you go there and they hire just like that, they'd hire me. But then I see them guys walking around there and they're, man, he looked like he was 80 years old, and I said, I don't wanna be here, so I went to work for 75 cents an hour,
Doing what?
apprentice carpenter.
Yeah, that's when you told me you were, something you stuck to for,
Yeah, well, we worked at building homes, and then I went on my own. I did all modernization. I used to advertise in the Michigan Catholic, and I used to get from Ypsilanti to Mount Clemens work calls and everything. Yeah, and I worked all my life for myself. Well, I had some guys working for me.
Uh-huh.
I had a couple of guys working, 2, 3 guys working sometimes.
and how many children did you have then?
3.
3.
Yeah.
One. What
Todd's
were the
name.
other 2?
My daughter and then my son.
So you had another daughter and a son.
Yeah, well, my son, he isn't with us anymore.
Oh. And your other daughter?
My mother.
Oh, oh, okay, that's a connection with you, okay. Now, is she local here?
Troy, yeah.
Oh, Troy?
Mhm.
Okay.
So they watch me. They won't let me use a snow shovel.
You
I'm gonna go to your
consider
doctor.
yourself very lucky that they do watch you.
Yeah.
And as I listen to you, you need watching too.
Why?
I actually live with him.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I'll tell you something, that kind of person I was. We go to town and have a few drinks. McGill was my lieutenant and everything, you know. And we came there going on a midnight march on account of me. Because I filled something with air.
You were a real rascal, weren't
I
you?
filled something with air and threw it in his tent. About 11 o'clock at night. So here, when the war was ending, I was driving him in a Volkswagen German army car, you know. And I says, hey, McGill, remember that time we're down on the maneuvers and that come flying into your tent? I said, I was the one that done it. But they were the kind of guys that would be on a hike and stuff. And I went with this one guy. He had a double date. He says, you want to go with me for one? And keep me company. So I went with him, you know. And finally, I had to push her to get away from there. So anyway, he comes back, and we're on a hike and stuff, and he's telling my lieutenant all that and everything, and he's coming back to me. How was so-and-so? How was so-and-so, you know? The rest I don't want to say.
You've got a number of ribbons from all your goings-on. And as I understand, you told me, he did earlier, that you don't have any of them yet.
No, we just checked on the website this weekend, and they're projected to arrive between the end of June and the end of July, depending on production and scheduling.
Should have been here a couple hours earlier. We had Representative Levin here. He could have stoked up the Well, you can always contact his office if you have a problem. He's done that before.
Put him to the top of the list.
Well, he seems to find this one of his favorite
Yeah.
topics, and
Which living?
Sander. Well, either one. And has accelerated some of the, I guess, like your dad, a lot of these guys left and really didn't give a hoot about their ribbons.
Yeah.
Right.
I even hobbled because I didn't grow in toenails, and I said, I'm not going to the hospital. I
And going
want
through all of that, it seems to me you'd like something to remember. I guess on the other hand. Anyhow, there's actually a Battle of the Bulge ribbon.
must be, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either,
There's an Omaha Beach one.
yeah. I got 10 of them, I think, daughter said.
Good conduct. How the hell did you make? Well, we discussed that in the
That's a
previous
given, everybody
interview.
makes that.
Good conduct means you never got caught. Presidential Unit Citation, American Campaign, World War II Victory, Honorable Service, European, African, Middle East, with the bronze, 4 bronze stars. And then I read something here, attached with something with bridge equipment. What the heck was that?
Bridge equipment. I think I'm gonna hire a lawyer and get back pay.
Do you have the original? I had to write over this one and I can't read my writing.
Contacting most
It's the last thing, it says attached.
for his office. He does. He'd be a good person to talk to.
Attached with, with the infantry.
Oh, infantry, attached with infantry with bridge equipment. Is that what that says?
Yep.
You don't know what that means?
No, that wasn't, I wrote that.
Yeah.
Can I see,
Sure.
please? No, that wasn't, that's not in the medal section, that's in the next section that says special duties. Special
As what? Oh, it's special
Special
duty?
duties and
Oh,
holidays.
okay.
Well, the grass didn't grow under me.
For sure. It doesn't sound like it does yet.
That's right.
Well, what do you think? I assume this is you. I don't know who that is. Boy, she's pretty. Now, did she end up being a homemaker?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so she didn't work outside the home.
No, not until all the kids left and everything, and then she worked. She used to work for, the cards,
Hallmark.
Hallmark.
Oh,
No, American Greetings.
Huh?
American Greetings. But she
American-
also worked downtown with the government office when we had those the
Downtown.
flooding
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, tell her what,
Hmm?
tell them what they said when you told her she should get a job.
I told her to get a job.
Yeah, and she said, no, that's why I'm married.
She says, I didn't get married to go to work.
well, you know, he's telling us the story about how tough a guy he was. It sounds like she was the boss, just didn't say much about it. She let him get away with it, or she felt he needed to get away with, and that was it. Is that true?
I used to hustle to make the money, and I'd look at the checkbook, it'd be low, and I'd hustle to make more money, and here in the meantime, she's buying US savings bonds and everything. And she
Good
didn't,
gravy, I remember those, wow.
and she didn't tell me anything about it until after a couple of years, but some of them they're worth like $2,000,
Wow.
$4,000, you know, that was really, after 20, 30 years. Yeah.
What'd you do with that 500 your dad gave you?
Well, I had to buy civilian clothes and stuff, and so I used it to pay rent and stuff like that. The $500 went a long ways back then. Now $100 is like a $10 bill.
Yeah. You have any other questions? What do you think?
Finally.
You've heard this before, I'm sure, but
Mostly in the last 10 years.
yeah,
Till before that, we didn't know a whole lot. Didn't talk about it much.
Pretty common. Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back when I was young, you thought about being in the service only to the extent of the service. You know, he was in the Navy 4 years, he was in the Army, but you don't realize during wartime,
Yeah.
you carry that the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair. That's unfortunate, but to some extent, some lesser of you guys,
Yeah.
this is a real
I,
head messer upper.
I remember when they broke up the company, see, and we're getting transferred to all different places, and all your buddies, they were all crying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was your family for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not under the best of conditions either.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, we never got sick, because once a month you strip down just with your raincoat on, and they give you all kind of shots and everything, and you never got sick.
Dave?
Was your mom alive when you got home? Mom and Dad?
Oh, yeah.
Were they happy to see you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Ed, I'm glad to have met you and your partial of your family. And
Well, I'm glad to meet you.
any of you folks have something you want to add to this?
Here's another souvenir.
Oh, where'd you get that?
My father sold a pack of cigarettes to someone desperately in need because he didn't smoke.
That was in the Netherlands.
And the guy gave him this $20 gold piece,
Is that what that is?
$10 gold.
$10 gold piece. And he had it mounted in a necklace for my mother.
Oh, neat. Can you see it?
There you go.
Whoops.
That's good.
That's neat.
We heard stories about that for a long time.
My,
Yeah, sometimes they get
my buddy,
expanded, but
he
that's
said
okay.
that there's a guy in, that was Maastricht, Netherlands, and he wanted a carton of cigarettes for that $10 gold piece. So I went there, the kind of guy I was, I chewed it down to one pack. And he gave me the $10 gold piece, and I give him the carton.
Well, I'm sure you're going to enjoy watching this DVD of your,
I should have brought a gun in, so it would be more,
yeah. But it'll be nice to see this again and
yeah.
be able to share it with some of those who weren't able to come. And so thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, I guess that's everything. Them are the good days.
Yeah. And it's amazing, mostly guys come in and you talk to them ahead of time and, oh geez, I won't remember,
You
you know, what are you gonna ask me, and blah, 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 blah. You get in here and you just say the right things a couple times and there's this Katie bar the door, you know, it's like it happened yesterday.
Yeah, that's like we're talking, and I didn't mention it, but we were moving up at night and the German fighter plane was strafing the column and we were going, say, north and the plane was coming this way. Well, I can still see the dirt flying about 6 foot off the road. He had really shot up the whole convoy. But they only come out at night, the German planes. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably didn't wanna crosshairs with the American,
Well, the Americans had
Fighter.
everything destroyed. They destroyed their airfields, everything. They just